What's up, everybody? It is the best spot, Kid Smooth, and I am here with a video I've been dying to do for a while now. I didn't know if I wanted to do this as a live video or if I wanted to do this as a pre-recorded, and I figured it'll be more prepared if I've done this as a pre-recorded video. I want to talk about something that's probably not likely, but needs to happen. Now, if you guys know me, big fan of the game Ryse Son of Rome by Crytek. Game came out back in 2013, had a long journey to its release, first starting out as a Kinect game to becoming a launch title for the Xbox One in 2013, developed by Crytek, published by Microsoft, and like I said, the Metascore wasn't great. I think it had a 60 on Metacritic. Was not considered a great game, but I found like something about the game that I like, whether it was the next generation graphics, the character, of the potential for what it was, even though it was like a hack and slash, quick time event, repetitive nature. It didn't really evolve gaming, but it was something about this game. I don't know if I like the game as much or if I like what it could become and what it could be for the future. And it strikens me, it saddens me that this game 5 years later doesn't have a sequel, even though the people behind the game said this is not a one and done type game. It's going to be another franchise like Crisis and like their Homefront series that will get, multiple entries. And Crytek, has been, I know the CryEngine has been sold. I believe Crytek have gone through some financial troubles. There was talks of Ryse 2 in the works, but for some reason or the other, it hasn't happened. And rumor has it that Microsoft wanted rights to Ryse 2 or to own the IP to help fund the game. Crytek didn't want that, so the project was canceled, even though the lead developer said that that is not the case. But for some reason, there isn't a Ryse 2, and I am a little bit upset. So let's talk about what Ryse 2 was. It was about you were a Spartan. You were a Roman warrior. You were the next in line, Marius. You know what I mean? His family was ambushed. A hit was put on his family by I gotta get this character's name. A hit was put on Marius' family by Nero. He was a fucking a crazy nut, who just put everybody in line to just freaking die. Everything just came and went through him. So he pretty much had the main character's family killed. His dad, his sister, his mom, all killed, right? And obviously, in the unpredictable fashion, your hunt is to seek revenge. And when doing that, you're given orders, and he runs into other side shit that he has to do before he gets to know what's behind this, the corruption and what he has to do and who he has to kill, right? But let's make a long story short about Ryse Son of Rome and what the story was, right? And how could this thing continue on? If you have not played or beaten Ryse Son of Rome yet, spoil alert, spoil alert. I don't want you to not watch this video, but I do want you to probably skip maybe 2 minutes ahead if you don't want to hear what happens. Eventually, you obviously, as Marius, avenge your family's death. You kill Nero, and you kill Basilius, you kill Commodus, you kill them all, right? But unfortunately, Marius dies at the end. He dies in combat on his way to kill Nero. He gets the job done, but he dies in some twisted freaking event that he was being used anyway. Even though his purpose was real, he was still being used in some. It fucked up the story. It wasn't needed, but he was being used by these two gods, which led him to die. But he gets killed on his way to Nero, but Nero dies, right? So you ask yourself, how can a sequel happen without the king, without the main character, without Marius? Well, that's why a sequel could happen. It is because the game doesn't need to be a direct sequel or continuation of what happens. Hey, the Son of Rome, now you can completely do a new game in a complete, in the same sort of environment, a different time in Rome with different characters and different enemies. It allows you, it gives you room to change up the game. But the way I looked at it, I felt like this game had potential. Sure, they can start fresh with something new, all new mechanics, and keep Ryse, the fall of Rome, Ryse, the Empire, Ryse, whatever. Right? They can do all of that. But I was like, you know what? This game has a good lore. It has potential. You were introduced to a lot of characters in Ryse. A lot of characters. And one of my favorites, I was hoping that this game got story DLC and they allowed you to play with this character. One of my favorite characters in Ryse Son of Rome was Boudica. Boudica was a beast. Now, if you don't remember Boudica, I don't know when the last time any of you guys have probably played this game, but Boudica was a beast. She dual-wielded swords, right? She can block. She was quick. She was acrobatic. She was fast. She was just a pain in the ass to handle. You know what I mean? She was a pain in the ass to handle, and she had some devastating like combos. She was the shit, and I fell in love with her. Fell in love with her so much, I was so happy that they allowed you to fight her twice. Boudica, she was like, I think, the only female character you run into this game that did anything. You know, she came from she came from barbarians. She was a leader of barbarians, and she's a part of the same pack of barbarians that pretty much invaded Rome. She obviously has it out with Marius on a couple occasions, and one of the main reasons why her and Marius has it out is because Marius is sent to capture Boudica and her father, King Oswald. And if I don't know, like, Marius gets the job done. You know, he captures, he brings him to what's this bitch dude's name? He's I don't like him. Basilius. If you guys want to know who Basilius is, it was Basilius is that weird looking dude. He's like he dresses in bright colors, and I think Basilius has a son. His name is there's some sort of relation between, because they look alike, and I could be wrong. Is Commodus. Commodus is the person, unfortunately, that ultimately kills King Oswald, and King Oswald is Boudica's father. What happens is, after you capture them, you bring them to them, you escort them back to Basilius and Commodus, whatever, and Marius just thinks he's just doing his deed. What Marius did not know was Commodus, pretty face Commodus, was going to stab Oswald in the back, because Oswald seemed like a good guy. He was just trying to do anything to protect his family, to protect his army, to protect his home. And there was no agreement where they were going to capture him, they were going to kill him. That's what no one was expecting, and that turned Marius off the wrong way, because that would then lead to him to find out some corruption behind Basilius, Commodus, and obviously Nero. Now, let's go back to Boudica, right? Because I don't know if you guys remember who this woman was. You guys actually fight She retreats because eventually you got to get the best of her to progress, get the best of her to progress the game. The thing about Boudica, after her father is murdered, she rounds up an army, and she was like, "We fucking up Rome. We're going after them. It's a wrap." And when the next time we see Boudica, she's on this big ass elephant, leading an army straight into Rome, thrashing shit. And I feel her pain because we just watched her father die. Right? So Boudica is on a rampage, whooping ass, killing people. You at this point as Marius do not get to really, I guess, decide the fate of Boudica just yet. Before Boudica goes, she has to take somebody out. She's left with to fight Marius's right-hand man. And Marius' right-hand man was Vitalian. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Vitalian was his right-hand man, and she murders him. She says, "Fuck that." She hits him with a toothpick. She gets him in the stomach, and then she gets him in the chest. Done. Marius eventually catches up to her, and he gets the best of her, and we know the fate of Boudica. You know, he did not. I think he knew her pain, so Marius did not want to. He did not want to kill her. He wanted to, like, you know, I beat you, whatever, go on. He didn't want her to. He didn't want to take her out. But Boudica has too much pride. She has too much pride. She was like, "You know what? You won. Do it." And so he severs her head. She's done. That's the end of Boudica. Now you got to ask yourself, why am I talking about why am I spoiling all the story and all the fights, these characters with Boudica, Marius, King Oswald, Commodus, Basilius? Because there's a story to be told. And sure, maybe Ryse doesn't need a sequel, but why not a prequel? Why not another point of view? Maybe Ryse could center a game around Boudica. The upcoming, because Boudica was a beast. I want to know how Boudica got to the point where she was that ultimate warrior, that dual-wielding beast. I want to know the story behind her. Sure, we already know what happens to her and her father at the end. She may not have to fight to avenge her father. Maybe the game could lead to that, but we know what happens. Boudica does not get to avenge her father. Marius does. Marius, unfortunately, is the one who kills the killer of her father on his hunt to Basilius, on his hunt to Nero. No, I think he gets Basilius before he gets Commodus. So on his hunt to Nero, he gets to Commodus and he kills him. So it's like, I guess they can't really make a story where Boudica is going after Commodus or Nero, because she obviously, unfortunately, does not get to do that. She does not get to avenge her father. Marius does. But we don't meet who Boudica's mother is, or maybe there's some backstory. Maybe there's a fight that Boudica and King Oswald have to do to you know, how their army came about, the people that they had to go through and fight and to keep off before succumbing to Rome and Nero and Commodus. Before they even got to that point, maybe there's something they can get accomplished before that point, because I want to see the relationship between Boudica and King Oswald, because I feel like there is a story to be told. I feel like there's a story. That's the last time we saw Boudica and King Oswald together. And I feel like there is a story, there is a lore, there's something that can be done for another Ryse game. She has different skill sets than Marius. She doesn't use a shield. She dual wields. She can probably feature a gameplay set where it's not so much quick time event, but only for combos or specialties or something that you have to earn. She has natural combat. She has more fluidity. She's more acrobatic. And she has a companion pet, that beast-ass elephant that she could use to help get around. There's so much where Ryse Son of Rome or a sequel to Ryse can go. And I just wish we get to see it. I want to see it. And I hope someone from Crytek, someone from Microsoft sees this, because there's ideas. You can make a suitable Ryse game. Now, people may look at the sales or the meta scores for Ryse Son of Rome and think, no way, we shouldn't touch this. No, there's a lore there. There's a story. There's something you can make out of this. Now, I don't know what's going on with the Cry engine. We saw what Homefront looks like on the Xbox One X. We saw what they can do, or whether if damn it, if you're not going to make another Ryse game, why hold on to the IP? Sell it to Microsoft, give it to them. But somebody has to make this game. And there's a story. You got characters. You have characters, and I want to see a Ryse game centered around Boudica because she was a beast. She's the only one I didn't mind getting my ass kicked by. The only person that I can see. Commodus was a bitch. He was a pretty boy who was spoiled, and he was a punk. Freaking Nero is nothing special. He could have been killed if they really wanted to. Aquilo was a bitch. I'm not interested in him. I'm not interested in Democles. He was the I think he was the original hunter, and he was a beast, right? Marius, there's no more story to tell. There's no prequel to Marius. There's no sequel to Marius. He's dead. He's dead. He did what he was set out to do. You know what I mean? Vitalian, nah. He was Marius' right hand man, but he didn't seem interesting enough for me. And in this day and age, where you got your Horizon Zero Dawns, you have your Hellblades, you have a lot of these games that are centered around a powerful female protagonist, a warrior. And I'm like, why not? Why not Boudica? So, Crytek, Microsoft, excuse me if I can't pronounce his name. He was the lead developer of Ryse Son of Rome. I'm going to tag you on Twitter if I have you on Twitter. Let me know your thoughts, or how I feel about the game, what could be done. There's a lot that can be done with this game, and for a story, I feel like the lore is there, and hopefully we see a Ryse Son of Rome. But please, if you agree, let me know, or share your thoughts. What do you think a Ryse Son of Rome or a Ryse 2 should focus on? What do you want to see in a potential sequel if it were to ever exist? It deserves a sequel. They said this is not a one and done game, but here we are. It's Kid Smooth. Xbox is the best box, and I am the best spot. You guys have a good night or good morning if you're on this side of the globe. Hit that like button. We all need it. Ryse 2.